Greetings, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So this is just a quick video I want to do on the live stream tonight. I did not have my microphone on. It was actually cut off when I was moving the microphone. It clicked one of those switches to turn it off. So hopefully everybody can hear this now. Just want to kind of run through real quick and talk about how we can anticipate reversals or down moves, right? And so one of the things that we like to use is trend lines, right? So just kind of recap the market real quick, right? So this is the first day of the month, so it's August, right? We've got a red month so far on the SPX. It took that, that light spinning top month from last month down. The weekly chart, again, kind of breaking down here. The daily, and this is the key, right? So the other day we talked about these trend line, what we could anticipate with the market here. And so this trend line was really key today, right? So we look for a breakdown below those minor pivot levels, right? And when we see that happen, right, we usually see a more downside movement, right? And especially if there's gaps below that can be filled. So we see those down as well. So you can start to anticipate that. Now today with the move back up, right? What do? We came back and we retested this trend line, right? And after that test of the trend line, we started to come back down. And then you can start to see other things too that anticipate. Remember, the things start on the smaller time frames and they start to trigger the big time frames, and then sometimes the bigger time frames create more momentum, right? So here, once we pushed down below, right, those weekly lows from last week, we got more momentum to the downside, right? And we started to get to the last month's lows as well. So just something really interesting to kind of keep in mind there, right? So and that was right at that trend line too, that 3008. So that was really, really key. That was the prior week's lows right there. So we tagged the prior week's lows, and then came back down. And then that's what we look at intraday. These are the levels that we use for in the positive trends group. These are trend lines and levels that we look at. Everybody's provided with this. So anyway, big move up today, right? But then look what happened, right? We use these trend lines to look for changes. This happens every day. It doesn't matter what day it is, right? We look for these trend line breaks, and we look for the minor pivots, and they break down levels, right? So here's your move up, right? We push down, gave you a minor pivot here. If this level then became key, right? And so we like to, sometimes to illustrate that, we put like a box around it, right? So we go here, and then again, it did it again here. We had this upward trend, we had a minor pivot right here. Okay, and things started to get really, really small. They started to get really compressed, right? And then you can kind of see that box right there. So as soon as that box broke, right? 1 second, let me just change that color there for everybody. As soon as this box broke to the downside, then we saw that huge flush, right? So the news and all that stuff, algos push it through, but still the setup was there all day, right? And these are things that we look at now. One of the things that also to keep in mind going into today, today was just not an ordinary day. It was the day after a huge move in the market because of the Fed, right? So the Fed moved, and then that market just really flushed down and kind of came back up, right? And so what happens is with price, it likes to go back and test levels. Well, look what level it came back to today. It came back really, really fast. The volatility is really high, and we'll get to that. It came right back to this level, right, to test exactly where they were. And then it decided not to get through it, right? So right? It didn't pull back and launch. It pulled back and tested. And it tested here really, really quietly, and then it flushed, right? So these are little signals that you can start to anticipate a move. Now, there's phrases, there's terminology out there like never short a dull market. Well, and you could argue, you can say like, well, this is a dull market, right? It was choppy right here, right? Things weren't moving. Was it? Was it really dull? We just moved up like almost 30 points right here, right? Just off of the morning, right? That's very rare to see. That's not dull at all. So what was happening here? Were we pausing and get another 30-point measure move? Was it going to be a 60-point day? Maybe. It can happen. But look what it was doing. It was testing these levels. So do you think it would want to test this level again where it hit at yesterday's low? Possibly, right? The volatility is high enough for it to do it. When the volatility is high, it can go crazy. It can go wherever it wants to quickly, right? So when we see it compress like this, we can start to anticipate a possible move, right? And now the other clue is what can we do to anticipate the down move? Well, that's where we go back to the VIX, right? So if you guys remember, I recently did a 3-minute video on this where we showed that when we want to buy the dip. We want to buy the dip when the 60-minute VIX is below the cloud, right, below its Ichimoku cloud, okay? And then yesterday, we were above it the whole time, right? And then even after Powell spoke, we were above it again. And so now when we go to today, where were we, right? Even during the massive up move, that up move today was not a move that was a major building move, right? Because look what happened, right? We only came back 2 bars here, right? and then we launched back up again when it came down. But look where we were with the volatility of the VIX. We were over 90, 0.90 the entire day, even when we were going up 30 points, right? This says something is up, right? And so we need to pay attention to that and keep that in mind, right? When we're done, when things are clear and things are good to go again, you're going to see bigger moves. The VIX is going to drop like crazy. It'll go, it'll launch the cloud like that. Huge down moves, big red bars, right, to push it back below the cloud. Did we see a big red bar today? Hardly. Right? Hardly. I mean, a little bit up here, but it went right back inside, right? But were these red bars in the morning where we're going up 30 points? No, it was just down and down. And then it stayed above the cloud the entire time. And the VIX stayed really, really high. So this is very, very significant. We need to pay attention to that, right, during the day to anticipate those type of moves, right? And then when you just kind of go back to it, again, not only were the trend lines looking at it, but, there was other signals as well, right? So, we saw not just the SPX itself. Let me go back to the chart right here. Not just the SPX breaking down last week's prior lows, items like that, and then seeing this here that working on the trend line breaks. But we also saw it in other stocks, some major stocks, right? What was Amazon doing at the time? Well, Amazon had already gone up above, its 1.68 extension off of its 15 orb today, right? And then it gave you a double inside bar right here, right? So at kind of an exhausted level, right? Or an extension, and then it came down off of that. AMD, same thing. So a lot of these big name stocks were doing this all over the place, right? Double inside 15 here at its 1.382 extension, and then it flushed out. And then finally Apple. Okay, Apple had earnings, right? It was a big move for a big reclaim today, and then what did it do? Okay, I mean this very, very nice pattern right here. Then it paused, and then it gave you a really, really small inside bar, right? Saying, hey, something's going on here, and then down. It wasn't just a dull market. The VIX was high, right? The volatility of the VIX was over 0.90. This was not a dull market. It's okay to short a market, right? That gives you setups, right? That where the VIX is extremely high. So hope you guys found that helpful. Again, sorry for everybody who tuned in tonight and didn't get to hear sound in the first 20 minutes. We'll work on keeping that microphone in order. But in the meantime, I hope you guys found this helpful. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.